Before offering the Teisho, I would like to thank Valerie and the Mountain Cloud Sangha for inviting me today. I would also like to thank Rolly for inviting our Sangha here. Birthday greetings to you, Valerie, wherever you are. Thank you also for the introduction. I am so humbled by it. For today's station, Shoyoroku case number 93, Shizo does not understand. The Dharma presented itself to me last Saturday, August 17, 2024, when I was preparing for Kensho. On July 4, few weeks after the NASC session in Santa Fe, Valerie emailed me inviting me to offer Teisho today. It was a surprise as well as an honor. That NASC session was so powerful that the Juriki was still present when I received the invitation. And I humbly accepted the invitation. Different koans crossed my mind, but I decided to wait and see what would arise during the Kensho. I was also filled with so much gratitude and love. And I wanted to share that instead of offering a Teisho on a koan. But I just let go and disappeared and followed wherever the Dharma would take me. And this is where it brought me, Shoyoroku, case number 93. Shizo does not understand. The introduction. People use jewels from Mount K to strike down magpies, old rats, buy pieces of gold. They don't understand their treasure. They can't make use of it. Is there anyone who suddenly finds the gem hidden in their own clothes? Case. Shizo asked Nansen. People do not recognize the Mani pearl. It is intimately grasped in the treasury of the Tathagata. What is this treasury? Nansen said, Old Master O exchanges questions and answers with you. That's it. Jesus said, how about when there is no exchange of question and answer? Nansen said, that's also the treasury. Jesus said, what is the pearl? Nansen called him to come near, saying, Shizo? Shizo said, yes. Nansen said, get out! You don't understand my words. Verse. Differentiating yes and no, clarifying gain and loss, responding to this in the heart, pointing to that in the palm. Coming and going, not coming and not going. Both are nothing but treasury. King Tenrin rewarded the worthy ones with it. Emperor Yellow found it through a blind man. Turning the pivotal activities, skilled in the art, you cleared eye monks, never take it carelessly. Today, I will only offer Teisho on the case. There are two characters in this koan. One, Master Nansen Fugan, who is the teacher of Master Joshu. 2. Shizo, who is like Joshu, a student of Nansen. Master Nansen was born in 748 and died in 834 at the age of 87. He was one of the greatest successors of Master Basil. He, like Joshu, had his enlightenment at the age of 18. It is said that after his enlightenment experience, he built a hut and settled in on Mount Nangwon, from which he derived his Dharma name. He lived in solitude for 3 decades. After much persuasion, he came down the mountain and founded a monastery. There he had hundreds of students and several successors, but the most known is none other than Master Joshu, who never left him after his enlightenment experience. Master Nansen's family name was O, and in this case, Nansen refers to himself as Old Master O. It is very interesting to note that Nansen appears in all 3 books of koans, in the Mumonkan 4 times, in the Hekigan 6 times, and in Shoyoroku 5 times. The koan Nansen kills the cat is very famous, and it appears in Mumonkan case number 14, Hekigan 63 and 64, and Shoyoroku 9. Now the case. Shizo asked Nansen, people do not recognize the Mani Pearl. It is intimately grasped in the treasury of the Tathagata. What is this treasury? What is the Mani Pearl? The word Mani jewel means that it is pure and unstained. This is our true nature. We also go about looking for our true nature, looking for that moment when we have our enlightenment experience. Who am I? We often ask ourselves, what is my true nature? Here, as in all koans, it describes our true self. Shiza wants to understand it, and he asks Nansen. Nansen says, Old Master O exchanges questions and answers with you. That's it. Who is Old Master O? That is Master Nansen himself. And Nansen states that the question and answer between themselves is the Mani Pearl, the treasury of the Tathagata. If that is the Mani Pearl for Nansen and Shizo, every time you speak to each other, that also is the Mani Pearl, the treasury of the Tathagata. But here, Shizo does not understand, or perhaps wants to challenge Nansen and says, how about when there is no exchange of questions and answers, just like right now? Just like right now, all of you are so quiet. So Shizu asks, What about when there's no exchange of questions and answers? Nansen said, that's also the treasure. So speaking or not speaking is the treasure. Shizo, however, is not listening to Nansen. He's stuck with his questions in his mind and does not realize that even all these questions is a treasury. He wants an explanation. He's looking outside of himself and does not savor what Nansen is saying. He does not experience, nor does he grasp the Joriki flowing out from Nansen. So he continues his combat with Nansen, thinking he knows better, and asks, what is the pearl? With this, Nansen calls him, come here, saying, Shizo? Shizo said, yes. If you'll notice, he just says yes. He doesn't even say, yes, master, as others usually would do. And Nansen said, get out. You don't understand my words. Well, perhaps we are all like Shizo. Our Kensho experience is right before our very eyes, but we do not see it. We are full of our delusive self that we do not see. We are the treasure, the pearl of great value. Let us turn to Master Dogen and see what he says. To learn the Buddha way is to learn one's own self. To learn one's own self is to forget one's own self. To forget one's own self is to be enlightened by the myriad dharmas. To be enlightened by the myriad dharmas is to let one's own mind and body, as well as that of all others, fall. This is taken from chapter Genjo Koan in the Shobogenzo. This also appears in the first page of the Kyosho magazine. This koan speaks so strongly that we cannot separate ourselves from our Buddha nature, our true nature, as we are it. But our concepts, our judgments, our attachments make it difficult for us to acknowledge it. I repeat what Master Dogen says. To learn the Buddha way is to learn one's own self. To learn one's own self is to forget one's own self. To learn the Buddha way is to learn this. How do we forget one's own self? By surrendering, by letting go, by disappearing. We put our trust in the Dharma and just allow things to flow. We sit and move and let go of our judgments of good and bad, beautiful and ugly, right and wrong. I like this. I don't like this. No attachments, just we let go and go out of our comfort zone and leave all our expectations, goals, and desires behind. We have nothing at all to fear as we are Buddha. Enlightenment from the very start. It sounds so easy, and yet so difficult for us to do. At Kensho, the Roshi said in his Teisho on Moon, the whole Zendo, the entire universe is moving as it is move itself. And so are each one of us. We do not have the treasure. The treasure, we do not have it because the treasure, the pearl, is we ourselves. You are not outside of it. We do not have to seek it as we are it. Every word we utter or not utter is it, the way Nansen emphatically said. Or even whatever we do, even if we're falling asleep, even if we're sitting, anything we do is a great treasure, is a pearl. We cannot separate it from us. Yet, we don't see it. Oftentimes, we have a difficult time seeing it. Even nonsense, get out! You don't understand my words. That is the great pearl. That is it. So when you go to Doksan and maybe Valerie or whoever your teacher is says, go sit some more. Go sit some more is the great pearl. That is you. And there is also nothing to understand. So when Nandan says, you don't understand my words, there's also something sharp there. You cannot understand this great pearl. You have to experience it. You have to see it. You have to see that you yourself are the great pearl. There is really nothing to understand. When we surrender and hold on to nothing, we allow our true nature to take over. That is Dharma. That is peace. That is the true pearl. The moon, the sun, and stars are always shining, even when we do not see them. How lucky we are that we have this practice. We have been chosen, but we also have this task. We also have this task as we vow this every time we do the 4 great aspirations. We must save all sentient beings, the whole universe. How do we do this? By realizing our true self. Last June, during the last session, most of you were strangers to me. But when we sat together, the barriers of you and I disappeared. And there was only one sangha breathing and moving. Even the walls and floors were gone. They became our legs, our hands, our face, our fingers, and the mountains and the rivers. That's our heart, our stomach, our intestines, all of us. So where am I? Where am I? Right. Our chanting, our bowing is saying all sentient beings. Each morning during the session, when Grant would turn on the lights, his light was shining. And each one of us was also turning on the lights as we were Grant ourselves. And the light was shining so brightly, illuminating the whole universe. Not just the Zendo, not just New Mexico, not just the US, not just the Philippines or Japan, but the whole universe. The light was shining in each and every sentient beings, in all beings. Light was just shining everywhere. There was not a single space where there was no light nor love. And even right now, the light, our light, is shining whether you see it or not. It occupies every space. And we fill the whole world with this light and this love. Each one of us, no exception. And this has been happening, is happening from the very beginning. This is the treasure the Mani Pearl. And I thank you for making me experience this. It was most beautiful. There was no fear, no anxiety, just total freedom. Yes, this is who we are. Happy birthday, Valerie. Here in the Philippines, it's August 23. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to reconnect once more with the Sangha, my Sangha, our Sangha, the whole Sangha. Gasho, deep bows, and lots of love to each one of you. The Mani Pearl, the treasury of the Tathagata.